Hey everyone. I was going to go over my presentation that I was signed up for. So mine is on web workflow and task runners. Um, First question, what's a task runner? In the development process, a task runner tool is used to automate tasks. There's many operations a task runner can assist with. An example, compression of a JavaScript file. Two popular task runners are Gulp and Grunt. What do task runners do? They optimize images. There's the concatenation and minification of CSS and JavaScript files. JavaScript error notices, that would be helpful. Limiting some of what a person using your web application needs to access your content will help it run smoother and quicker. A user will be happy to be on a page that loads quickly and gets them what they need faster. So if there's just less places that your web application has to pull from, it's going to pull up nice and fast. You'll have less of a bounce rate, and it sounds like a good idea to me. I just thought Task Runner sounds kind of fun. I looked up the different options, and I thought Gulp was a good one to maybe try. Um, it's apparently easier to start with because only basic JavaScript knowledge is needed, if that. And a person doesn't even need to know Node, which is what it runs on, because of the simplicity of the task runner and ease of use. But I mean, whatever knowledge you can build upon is always helpful. So, I mean, knowledge is power. There's also several helpful plugins according to andycarter.com. So they had a nice article about Gulp and Grunt, which is another one. So the other thing I was the other subject I have to speak on is web workflow. This class is preparing us really well to be able to work with future clients. A web workflow is a way to keep the client informed through every step and process in building their website or web application. Also, it helps with getting a project done at a quick pace and provides encouragement to the developer and the client to know everything is on track when certain points are reached in the process of development. So, when it's like a nicely organized way of communicating with them, they're going to feel very confident that you know what you're doing, number one. And it's kind of nice to have, stepping stones of what needs to come next in your process with developing. I looked up workflow steps and I thought Blog TBH Creative had some really helpful steps when developing a workflow with a new client. Step one, self-explanatory, kickoff meeting. Meet with the client, see if you're even the right fit for them, see what they want, see if you're even able to do it. That's always a good place to start. Discovery and research. So maybe go into a little bit more about who they are as a company or as a person and what they're looking for. Content creation. Maybe, that's obviously go into what they want on their website, what they're wanting to display, what kind of message they're wanting to, an audience they're wanting to reach. And then the wireframe is, obviously putting it all in a nice organized fashion. So when you're developing it for them, you have, you know, you have something to go off of when you're putting it all together. And then, of course, designing it and, with Park and making it, look nice and user friendly is a step you might be there for a little while just because, people can always have different ideas of what they want and stuff. Prototyping is just kind of going over, just kind of the usability. How well does everything work on the site? Make sure what you're putting on there is going to work nice and smooth and look good. And the development is of course writing the code and just getting everything put together nice. Um, so just like the front end, back end, depending on what you're making. Um, Quality and review is just basically launching the site and just seeing how it does and seeing how well it works. And then evaluation's a nice follow up just to, basically write down, how it did. And then, of course, future improvements because, things can always be made better. And of course, you also want the client happy. And so that's another thing to focus on. And so that is what I have to talk about. And I have the two websites I went to in the presentation, but I'll repost them under this presentation for anybody who wants to go on there and read the full articles because I thought they were helpful. Everybody have a great week.